And we had talked earlier about that's where Moses runs away to
Yeah.
and meets up with the Midianites. And he was there 40 years.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to get ahead of us, but he still keeps uh, his faith in his God. Uh, Let me back up here.
All right. This is gonna be interesting.
Yes. He runs away from Egypt because he's being hunted down, sent off. You want to believe the Ten Commandments movie? The Pharaoh sent him away, but I believe he ran away.
Yeah.
And he gets the Midianite and he dwells with them for 40 years. And as far as we know, he has nothing to do with God because it doesn't really say yes or no. He knows that he's a Hebrew, but he stays with his Midianites,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has this encounter with God on Mount Sinai,
Mm.
and then from that point, he he leaves there and goes back to Egypt
Yeah.
at the age of 80.
Yeah.
Uh, he got counseled by his father-in-law to stop being the judge over every little thing going on.
Yeah.
So his father-in-law helps him in that.
Yeah.
And then, and later on we find the Midianites are a very big problem, which
Yeah.
which I don't understand. If his father-in-law knew uh, what was going on with Moses, you would think that he would follow him. Now maybe he did, uh, and it's just the ancestors after that decide that they didn't like.
Well, yeah. It's even more interesting than that because you say he doesn't. It as far as we know, right?
Mhm.
Doesn't have anything to do with God, but it's interesting who he decides to throw his lot in with in Midian. Because his father-in-law Jethro, is known as and described in the Bible as a priest of the Most High, just like Melchizedek was.
Mm-hmm.
So up until at least Jethro's time, at least some of the Midianites
Mm-hmm.
worshipped God Almighty. They didn't worship um, the pagan idols, pagan gods of their neighboring peoples.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that Jethro or Moses was probably still um, loyal to God. That he never became disloyal
Mm-hmm.
or worshipped
So
anybody else.
he probably learned more from Jethro than what's being led on,
I, I would
possibly.
I would assume that maybe yeah, because this was before he was called
Mm-hmm.
by God. So what he would have known would be what he would have known. If I could just talk,
Say
what
that again.
he would have learned is just what Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob passed on, right? Which is going to be interesting because in a little bit we're going to talk about Isaac or Jacob,
Mm-hmm.
and there's going to be an interesting little tidbit there because he might have had two other teachers other than his father and grandfather. Um, some heavy hitters, some OGs, and it's conceivable that um, the Midianites, at least some of them, to this point, had that knowledge also. So Moses would have gotten a double dose, like you said, learned more from Jethro, Yitro, and just stayed faithful in his silent years. Yeah.
Well, I guess being that Mount Sinai is where the Midianites were located in that general area. Uh, I keep on going back to the movie because I used to love watching Ten Commandments because it was so what I thought well put together, and then I found out that it was so disorganized and did not bring out the whole truth about a lot of it.
Yeah.
Where it talks about, I think Joshua comes in on the scene, or no, she's talking to Moses.
Who?
His wife. And he's asking about the mountain. Why is it rumbling and stuff? And she says that's God's high place, and that's where He dwells. So I don't know how much of that is actual. We'll have to find out when we get further on.
Yeah.
But it's just the movie really messes up the story, the true story.
Yeah.
There's some truth in it, but there's a lot of Hollywood in it too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Thankfully, most of the younger generations have no clue what we're talking about right now.
I would say go back and watch the movie, but read Exodus first before you watch the movie.
Yeah.
So you know the truth first, and then watch Hollywood mess it up, and then Charlton Heston was great, all that stuff. But if God did dwell on Mount Sinai in that time period, or maybe He visited there, who knows what the whole deal. He was there. There's no doubt about that because Moses goes up there and sees and talks to God, talks to God the Father, because he does not see Him face to face.
Yeah.
Not at this point. He talks to Jesus face to face later, but at this point he is directly talking to God the Father, because if you read it, God said, "No man can see my face and live. It's impossible. No mortal man. Angels can see Him because they're immortal, but as we are now, we can't see God's face to face in the sense of the Father Himself."
Yeah.
And that's why He hides Him in the cleft of the rock, and He passes by with His hand over him so that he doesn't see, and then He pulls it away and he can see the backside of God.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference, a big distinction between God the Father and Jesus. How people see Him in the Old Testament when they get to talk to Him face to face. They're not talking to God face to face because it's an impossibility, but they are talking to God the Son face to face. But anyway, so I went down that rabbit hole. And